LCC coaching. Basically, my job is to just make sure that things run smoothly. Welcome all to this information session. So for this session, what we'll be covering is just the basic overview. We will also talk a little bit about the diploma, the program philosophy, and our approach. We will give you a curriculum snapshot, and we'll also talk a little bit about why this diploma matters, who it is for, and why you should join.
Okay.
To give you a little bit in terms of the proof of our concept, we also have some testimonials and endorsements from previous cohorts. And then our lovely facilitators, Coach Jackie, Coach Anima, will tell us a little bit more about themselves. And we will also look at some partnerships and affiliations that we've had. And we will now go through the key dates and contact information for our upcoming cohort, as well as discussing a little bit about the fees and the pricing offers that we have. We will also go through some frequently asked questions, and then at the very end, we'll have a session where we can answer any questions that you may have and listen to any comments that you may have for us. So now I would like to invite Coach Jackie to take us through the next session.
Okay. Nawekulo, are you going to share the slide?
Yes.
All right. I cannot see the slides.
Oh, it's showing.
Oh, why am I not seeing them?
You're not seeing them on your end?
No.
Oh.
Can everybody else see the slides? I can see them. Yeah.
Yes, I can see the slides.
Yes.
Okay.
Dr. Jackie,
Yes.
maybe check if you're at the top of your Zoom, instead of it
Yes.
reading Nawekulo's screen, it's reading meeting. So maybe you'll
okay.
tap on Nawekulo's screen.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for that. Today I've had lots of adventures with my laptop. I was beginning to think that I have forgotten how to use it. Thank you for that, Lynn. Okay. So this program, as some of you already know, is accredited as a specialized coach education program, focusing specifically on coaches to work with adolescents and young adults. So we are not just training people to be coaches, but really working with them to develop relevant skills, appropriate mindset to effectively work with young people, because this is a specific demographic, and I think some of you are aware of that, but we are also going to touch on that when we talk about the curriculum. So in this program, we have some evidence-based psychology. We are drawing from practical strategies drawn from research and specifically tailored for adolescents and youth adults and young adults. And our next intake is, our next cohort is scheduled to begin in September. We're going to talk a little bit more about the costs and everything as we go to the next slide, which is talking about a bit more about the structure of the program. So as far as the number of hours that you can claim when you do this program, it is 74 hours. And this is how you get those 74 hours. We have 2 days a month for 3 months. That is 7 hours, 7 hours a day. And during this time, you get some practical coaching skills. So we do some observed coaching on top of the content sharing. In addition, as part of the program, you will receive mentor coaching for 10 hours. And then it is a requirement of the program that during your training, you also do client coaching, because it is important for you to actually practice client coaching, and we require 10 hours for that. And on top of that, there will be some self-study, which we are estimating to be about 12 hours or more. We also encourage you to do peer coaching during this period. It is a virtual program, fully delivered on Zoom, and it is accredited by the Association for Coaching and the International Coaching Federation. Now, you may have heard us talking earlier before we started the full presentation that we also got a certificate program for people who are already coaches. So the certificate program for people who are already coaches does not include 74 hours because these people do not need to do the coaching skills practice. They're already coaches. So the certificate program is made up of, we have 2.5 days actually. In terms of continuous coach education units, you would gain 24 continuous coach education units, out of which 18 are core competencies and 6 are resource development units.
Sorry, your slide has not moved. I don't know if it's my side, because you're now talking about the certificate.
Yes, I'm talking about the certificate. We don't have a slide on it, sorry.
Okay, all right.
Yes. So it is something that we just realized, Coach Anima brought it. We just realized that we don't have a slide on the certificate. So the certificate program is shorter. If you're already a coach, you don't have to go through the 74 hours. You don't need the 74 hours. There's no mentor coaching. There's no coaching skills practice, but we will do some content sharing, focusing on the modules that specifically touch on psychological development of adolescents, models that work well with adolescents and young adults, creative activities that work with these adolescents and young adults. And then we also require client coaching with that demographic, because if you are not trained to work with them, you may have not worked with them, even if you're a coach. And it is important that you get to practice actually working with them. So at the end of the program, whether it is the diploma program or the certificate program, you will get the certification, Certified Adolescent and Youth Coach, the CAYC certification. For the certificate program, we have not yet determined the start date, but we are going to share that with you later. Yes, Coach Anima?
I wondered if, Nawekulo, you could pop the certificate details in the chat, because we do have some information about it. So those interested in the certificate can access that. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next slide where we are going to look at the curriculum, at why the program philosophy. So we simply call it the C model because we are focusing on specialized skills, that is tools and techniques tailored to the development and contextual needs of young people. Because these people, they operate differently. They look at things differently. They have got different challenges from the executives and adults that a lot of us coaches already work with. So the S is for specialized skills. And then the first E is for ethical excellence. I think this is important for whoever you are coaching, but it is particularly important for this demographic, especially if you're working with those who are in fact minors, that is any young adult or any adolescent who is under the age of 18. There are some specific ethical considerations. We need a foundation of integrity, accountability, and respect. And this is aligned with Global Code of Ethics, whether you're talking about the International Coaching Federation or the Association of Coaching who accredit this program. Ethical excellence is the first E. And then the second E is about empathy, being empathetic, an empathy-driven practice. One of the challenges that young people face in today's world is that they are regarded with harshness, with condensation, with judgment by elders, And so we want our coaches to be committed to fostering trust, respect, and empowerment for these people. And it is particularly important. One of the skills we have had to learn ourselves as coaches of these young people is how to remove that hierarchy between ourselves and our clients, because this is something that is embedded in us as a culture. So even as a coach, when you sit with your client, they are already they are calling you auntie, Mrs., teacher, that sort of thing. And it's very important to learn how to help them see you as a partner. This is and one of the things that you need to develop in order to remove this hierarchy is empathy. There's a video there that we can share later that you can hear more about the program. Next slide. So this is essentially yes.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to mention something about empathy-driven practice. is not rescue mission. We are talking about empathy, not rescuing people. So empathy means that you are able to see it from their lens, but it doesn't mean that you rescue them from that lens. You stand beside them on the balcony to be able to look at what they're going through and be a thought partner. And I just wanted to make that clear.
Okay. So this is a snapshot of the curriculum. This total curriculum is for the diploma, but I'm going to highlight the elements which are also part of the certificate. So adolescent psychological development is a part of both the diploma and the certificate programs. And this is one of the key elements of this program for people to really understand the developmental psychology of this demography that we are working with. And the same for emerging adulthood. So there's a space there where these people are no longer considered children because they are over 18, but they are no longer completely independent as adults. And this is what we are talking about when we say emerging adulthood. And this is also part of both the programs, that is diploma and certificate. We have got ethics of coaching adolescents and emerging adults. And again, this is a part of both programs, because there are certain aspects that are very particular to this demography that do not necessarily apply when we are dealing with adults. Then we have also got content on neurodiversity, and we also include this in the certificate program. This is a decision that we made because we feel that this is a gap when we are looking at coaching overall, and not only for young adults. And therefore, we feel that this is an additional skill that would benefit our coaches, and it is also part of the certificate program. When it comes to coaching models and approaches, this we do not emphasize for the certificate program because we are working with skilled coaches. We will mention some suggested programs that are suited to this demography, but we will not go into detail. However, for the diploma, we go into details of these programs, of these models and approaches, including coaching skills practice using these models and approaches. And of course, we have coaching skills practice, which is part of the diploma. Every module, every day, there is coaching skills practice, observed practice with feedback, but we do not include this in the certificate program. The next slide. Why does this diploma matter? I mean, we are going to talk a little bit about why we are doing this when we come to the facilitators. But I think everybody who is here is interested in young people, and we know that these people are facing social, academic, and emotional challenges that are very different from any that we faced. And then there are many interventions. You know, they get mentoring, they get business coaching, they get in business incubation, they get technical training, they get counseling. You know, they have people who are looking at their mental health, but coaching is not included in those interventions. And we know the transformative power of coaching. So we are saying this diploma is important because we need a network of people who are skilled enough to hold space for these people, to provide that service that is currently missing, not to replace what is already there, but to provide something that is going to allow these young people to be more self-reflective, so that, you know, they are not relying on skills, let's say business skills, but when they run into problems, when they cannot get on with each other, they don't know how to talk to each other, they don't know how to resolve the problems, they often cannot interrogate, you know, their own motivation, they have difficulty finding their own solutions because they have not been given the space to be able to do that. And this is why we are saying this diploma matters. We want to support these young people through their transitions, through identity exploration, and, you know, help them to confidently step into the future. And as you know, this is like 2/3 of the population of Africa. And before I hand over to Coach Anyima, this program is for anybody who is really, really interested in the future of young people, whether they be school principals, head teachers, chaplains, pastors, people who are already working with young people as mentors or in the development sector, and parents as well. So I'm going to hand it over now to you, Coach Anyima.
Okay. I just wanted to check the room. Any questions arising so far that we can quickly answer? Or we're good? Okay, so if you're here and you're wondering, so what's this got to do with me, apart from everything that's been shared so far? It's because, as Coach Jackie said, we are looking at the numbers, especially on the continent, okay? All eyes are on Africa, by the way. And as we focus on entrepreneurs and people who are maybe 30 plus going on, there's the next wave, and indeed the next wave of young adults is going to be larger than ever. We're saying be a pioneer, be one of the builders of preparing the 18 to 25 age range to be ready for what's coming when they succeed, because they are going to succeed. All eyes on Africa. There's grants, there's programs, there's different things that's going to empower them. But whilst they are in that space, or when they reach that space, they are 18 plus, they're getting some career coaching to go into a big organization that's going to, give them the dream that this is where you are going to grow and shape your future. And yet they don't know how to reflect. They can't articulate fully their own dreams without feeling intimidated by their line manager who's been in the organization for 25 years and they aspire to be like that person. What happens when they have risen up because they've applied themselves and yet they're feeding a family? Everything relies on this job. So they subject themselves to whatever is thrown at them and are not able to articulate or stand up without feeling like, oh, I'm disrespecting, I'm ungrateful. We need to empower them by giving them those transformative skills, challenging them to think, challenging them to own their decisions with authenticity, helping them to be okay, to stand apart from family legacy, what we've always done, what my mama said, what my daddy said, and bringing that into organizational behavior that really has no place being there. Unfortunately, and I put my hand up as well, we can tend to have a parental lens most of the time when we're working with younger people. We want to protect them. We want to make sure they don't make our mistakes. We want to make sure that they're not taken advantage of. And we do that by telling them what to do. And as coaches, for those of us who are coaches, we know that that's actually not the way. But there's something that happens when we see somebody younger with fresh dreams. We want to protect them from that world out there by telling them, no, now we're going to empower them. We're going to give them the transformative skills that applies personal, family, business, professional life. Become a part of shaping the future. Today's youth are the Nelson Mandelas, the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, they are the Mama Mboga, we call them in Kenya, but the small business entrepreneur on the side of the street. In the future, these people are already doing business using AI. What kind of people are they going to be? Advocating for themselves and what they want and not just following a path that's being laid out. This is why you should join. I hope I'm capturing you. Okay, next slide. Testimonials. Now, I'll just read a few of these that we've put up here from our last cohort, just really talking to the experience on the program. So the first one says, my journey of learning as a coach has been both humbling and transformative. I was used to giving advice, and coaching, I've discovered, is way deeper. I've learned how to be fully present, attentive, and attuned to both what is spoken and unspoken. Please note that all these quotes are from people who've done the full diploma. It's only this after the first and second cohort that we've gotten the accreditation to do the certificate. So we're looking for more testimonials from coaches who'll be doing the certificate. Second one says, I'm very proud of myself for having gifted myself this training. It's really satisfying to witness growth and transformation in my clients with every session. And the third one says, this unique demographic expanded my coaching lens, demanding a deeper, more attuned application of core practices. Every element has stretched, humbled, and refined me into a more present, intuitive, and effective coach. And now I'm going to correct myself. That comes from a coach who was already accredited, but did the whole diploma as well. And really to back up some of what I'm saying, we have live in the room one of our participants who actually has just, is it today or yesterday? Today. Yes, went through her assessment. So Elika, you are welcome, really. Thank you for making the time to be here today. And we'd love to hear from you the impact of this diploma and what it had on you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Coach Jackie, Coach Anyima, for this opportunity. Good evening, everyone. My name is Malesi, and I've had my assessment today, as Coach Anyima has mentioned. So I'll just mention the before, during, and after. So before doing this diploma course in coaching, I actually was very biased in terms of how I used to view the young people. And it was more of giving advice. And coaching for me, it was more of the people who are in careers, people who are, 30 and above. I didn't know what it meant to coach a young person. And my experience during the diploma course, I've actually been transformed how I view the young people, how the kind of questions I ask through the skills that I've gained in terms of just being present, asking curious questions, and the other skill of just maintaining silence and ensuring that I am not giving counsel, but I'm empowering that young individual to actually make a decision or know what is best fit for him or her. And my action or my call to action, I am actually encouraging anyone who is here. This is a worthy call because you realize there are so many people out here who are used to being young people who are used to being cancelled, being talked down. But if we get into that space and we are empowering them, we are actually being part of the transformational story that our young people really need. And once again, I say it is a worthy course that anyone needs to sign up for. Thank you.
Elika, don't go too fast. I just have one thing to also clarify. You have been working with the youth before coming on the diploma, right?
Yes.
And so what's the biggest change that you are going to be taking into your work after this diploma?
There's a lot that I need to change in terms of my work, and one of them is actually being more of a good listener, giving these young people a chance to actually express themselves and not giving advice. Just I'm not going to give advice. Yeah.
Yeah. I do remember, and I would love to mention this as well. One of your aha moments was also around just realizing the systemic impact of all the people involved in a young person's life and how it impacts us as coaches. We feel responsible to a parent or to the community to make sure that they turn out. And yet, as coaches, we do know that there's nothing we can make sure without the willing participation and engagement of that youth. And so the systemic pressure that we normally carry when working with that demography from the society, from the community is, yes, teacher, do a good job, change those children. What we're saying is that we are so attached to that when we're working with young people that we forget to put it aside. And in coaching, I remember when you realized, wow, the pressure of parents who come and talk to you, help my son, help my daughter. And yet now learning to even contract with those parents, explaining what we can and can't do through coaching with the youth was really quite pivotal in that journey. So Elika, thank you so much for being here. A long day and you've still showed up. Really grateful. What's the next slide?
I think the next slide is where we are going to speak about ourselves, Coach Anyima. And maybe to give you a break, I will go first.
Yes.
I mean, I could speak a whole day about the reason why I do this, but I'm just going to share, let me just share two things. The first thing is that when I first became a coach, when I first qualified as a coach, I was also getting into the space of being a parent to teenagers. My children were twins and they were getting into adolescence. And the coaching skills really helped me to navigate this season. Even though I wasn't aware of that, other people noticed something different in my relationship with my children, and my children's friends noticed that thing. So I realized that I had a skill that, other people could benefit from, but more importantly, that young people could benefit from. And then I started running an annual workshop with high school leavers, just talking about things that they don't learn in school. This is a workshop that I ran for 12 years. And I remember one young man who came to the workshop having received his O-level results, and he had not performed well. He had actually gotten a grade D, which is like the second worst grade possible. And he was feeling so demotivated, and his parents had not been amused, of course, and he just felt lost and alone and totally useless. But after attending that workshop, he said to me that was the first time that somebody had actually listened to him, just given him space to say what he feels, to talk about what he would like, and to really explore options, because that D was not the end of the world. Recently, I met that young man. After that workshop, he had started a micro business. I think you had Coach Anyima talking about micro businesses. He had started a micro business, polishing people's shoes to earn some money. And then he had gone into, he'd grown his business into selling sports shoes. You can see it's a related business. But anyway, this was 5 years after I met him. 3 months ago, he was preparing to go and study abroad. He had got a university placement. And for me, this is just a powerful testimony of what we can do when we hold space for these young people. But there are so many of them. And I realized that I was one of few coaches that was working with this demography. That is why I thought that we really need to do something about creating a network of coaches who can work skillfully, professionally, and ethically with these young people. That is me, and that is why I do what I do.
Thank you, Coach Jackie. And to extend then that story, we met as coaches, coach and supervisor, and really found our shared passion for the youth. I learned so much from Coach Jackie. She's written some books and has her PhD actually in education. And my passion for youth development also started with my children, but in church. My 10-year-old, was she 10? 11-year-old at the time, no longer wanted to come to church because she had heard the stories over. Very brilliant, and she was bored. And when you're bored, even normally in school, what happens? You get a label, either naughty, a disruptor. And I was like, my daughter doesn't want to come to church because that's our family faith. What do we do? So we started having conversations. And so we developed 11 years ago the ACON program for ages 11 or 12 to 13, that year before they move up to their teen class. And it's been running for 11 years. What have I learned? I brought my coaching skills, my background in counseling psychology to really engage, and really had to explain to the parents also that this is not make sure they make Jesus Lord. No, it was giving those children space to think, to discover God for themselves by being curious about the world around them. In church, we wouldn't sort of encourage the conversations around LGBTQ, dating, all these things that they have in school. And when we come to church, you're only listening and talking about Noah and Jonah how many times? So in the ACON class, they bring topics. The Bible has the last word, but you go and research. What do you want to understand? They'll do their own research. You have to use the Bible and everything else. They come back. And what I do is I train the youth workers to use coaching skills to become better facilitators of the group, not just dump information, but being curious, knowing how to organize a session, listen, draw out the children, but giving them the space without judgment. It's a confidential space, so it's not a space where when they share what they're experiencing or curious about, then we go and tell their parents, and you think you are raising your children in a Christian way. No, it's not like that. It's a space where both parents and children should be supported. And we tell parents this all the time. If you feel you're struggling to connect, we will teach you the skills, but we won't do it for you. And I share that with so much passion because, especially also in our culture, there is that sense parents get the blame for the children. Children, don't embarrass your parents. What happens to individual self-awareness and growth to make choices that we can respect? And just like adults, when we're fully informed, we're able to make better choices. It's the same with youth and adolescents. And so the role of a coach and coaching skills is to create spaces where youth and adolescents can be fully informed and rightly informed, because we hold a non-judgmental space and a container where they feel safe, feel trusted, are trusted to figure things out, no matter what it takes. Yeah. And that is why I do the work that I do. I also bring in my supervisory skills, especially when I think about what coaches face and really figuring out how to support them more effectively to stay in this space and not give up, because we need our youth to grow, yeah, and be effective in doing so. That's why I do what I do.
Chanyima, and the next slide, I think we've already mentioned this. This program is accredited by the International Coaching Federation as a level 1 program and by the Association for Coaching. So this is just to confirm to you that it is legit, it is credible, and it is rigorous. And then on the next slide, we have some key dates. This is specifically for the diploma. I'm going to mention that for the certificate, we would like to gauge interest. If we can make up a cohort, and then we can set a date. So I know that there's a number of coaches on this.
3
minutes. Yes, a minimum of 3, and then we can agree on a date. We just need 3 dates, 2 days of classroom, which will happen 2 or 3 weeks apart, and then a half day for the assessment. But for the diploma, the next cohort is set to begin on the 14th of September. So we usually have the sessions on a Monday and a Tuesday. And then the next one will be in October. And then the last classroom session will be in November. And assessment will be at the beginning of January of 2027. If you're interested, application deadline is 14th of August. And Nawekulo is going to talk a little bit more about that. And there are some contact details over there. You can look at the website just to get a little bit more information about the program. And I think Coach Anyima, you can talk about the fees and the special offers on the next slide.
Okay, so yeah, I will say this. I am also faculty on the Academy of Executive Coaching out of the UK program for coaching. And there are many other programs out there, and we've really tried to keep the cost to a minimum, where you get a full accredited, double accredited program. This is a very fair cost. There's a payment plan that you can be 5 installments, as it says there, to clear by November. And we've had some very good support that has allowed us to offer 1 or 2 scholarships for certain type of situations that have been described for some of the applicants. So I say this to say I say it with my full chest. This is the cost. We have to pay for things. And I think I've had many people say, hey, but it's too. I said, really? We have really gone out of our way to give an installment plan that is friendly all the way up to 15th November, which is literally last but one session. But it costs to be accredited. It costs to run this robust program. It costs to actually do the mentor coaching and all the things in between. So we haven't tried to inflate it in any way, but rather to give you cost of what it means to have an accreditation at this level. Coach Jackie, what is the cost for the certificate?
The certificate is 140,000 shillings. That's $1,200. 1,100. Now, Ekulo will, I think we can confirm. Yeah.
So
for the certificate
already,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that for the certificate, because it is just 2 sessions, we are not at this moment offering a payment plan. But if you would like to discuss one, we would be happy to look at something for you as an individual.
Okay, fantastic. So there you have it. The program, the cost. We are here. We want to take some questions live in the room. It's always nice to have those interactions. Don't be shy. Open your mic, ask the questions. We have alumni here. Both Coach Jackie and I are here, and also we have our program administrator here as well. So yeah, welcome. Any questions or comments? Oh, Nawex, did you have your frequently asked questions? I'm sorry, but
There are some.
Yeah, Rhoda, you have unmuted. Did you have a question?
No. I was going to respond to your question, which was, do we have frequently asked questions?
There's a participant called Rhoda who unmuted. I just saw, so I just wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah, but go ahead. So, frequently asked questions. How long is the program? 4 months. 2 full classroom days over 3 months, and then the assessment day in the 4th month. Yeah. In between sessions, you have mentor coaching. You're going to have your individual practice. You're going to have reading. There's a LMS, a learning management platform that gives you extra learning, because what we give you within the program is maybe the broader strokes. So we encourage you to look at things from different angles, go deeper, prepare as well. Yeah. What if I can't complete? Okay, so all 74 hours must be completed for certification. That's a requirement of the professional bodies. So if you miss a session, that's why you have the dates in advance, and we would encourage you to block them out in your calendar. It is very difficult to maybe recreate that learning day without incurring extra cost. So we really encourage you to make yourself accessible. Look at the dates. We're going to start rolling dates. So maybe if one set of dates doesn't work for you, you could consider the next. But we'd really encourage that you block the dates out in your calendar so that you can be available. It is virtual, so you can join in from wherever you are if you've had to travel. So that travel is not restricting you from joining in. How is the assessment done? There's a continuous assessment based on observed coaching practice as you develop your coaching skills gradually. There's also an ethics essay based on a client case, how you have handled an ethical consideration. There's a presentation where you talk us through your journey of learning, your journey of change, challenge, your journey of coaching, how you do your coaching, and so on and so forth. And I've already talked about scholarships. So these are some. Are there more questions now than this? Oh, Coach Jackie, yes.
Yes, I just wanted to add that for the certificate program, for the assessment, we just ask for the essay, the ethics essay, because it's a big part of this program. and the presentation on your journey to coaching, to becoming a coach of adolescents and young adults. So because there's no assessment of a recording or your coaching skills in the certificate program.
Okay.
So now, in terms of next steps, if you find that you're either interested in the diploma or the certificate program, you can send an email to us. The email is on the screen, but I'll also be sharing this information pack with you. So you'll have this information. As Coach Anyima mentioned, there are different payment options that we have. So there are those who would choose to pay the whole amount, and there are those who would prefer to pay in installments. We have a 5 installment plan. We also have some scholarships that are available. But basically, should you feel that you are interested in one of these programs, you can always just reach out to us and we'll be sure to get in touch. Yeah, so that's same thing with the certificate. You can just send us an email and then we could have more discussions. And now we can move on to the question and answer part of this session. I can see Jifa already has her hand up, so I guess she can ask her question.
Hi, sorry. I'm wondering if the pack they're going to share will be updated with the certificate details. I think I have
Yes.
other
Yes.
people who might be interested in that space, that course.
Yes.
Yes.
We also welcome thoughts, comments, share your passions for this demography, even if you don't have a question. Are we shy? Hey. Okay, we have 4 minutes. So we want to thank you also for taking the time to be here. We don't take it for granted, honestly. If it's not for you, but you know somebody it could be for, please pass it on. Spread the word. Help us to reach as many as possible, because we know that there are people who want this information and opportunity, but may not have had the opportunity to hear about it. So please pass on the info, share it widely as possible. We'd be very grateful.
Yes. Thank you so much for showing up, for your interest. And again, just to invite you, if if you're interested in this, but there is a certain constraint that you are facing, we are happy to hear how we can partner to make it possible for you to get this certification. So if you really need to discuss some situation that is very specific to you, we are ready to listen to you. But most of all, tonight, I'm really, really grateful that you showed up. I think as coaches, we are always doing things like this, and sometimes you prepare these things and then, people just don't turn up. So we really do not take it for granted that you showed up this evening.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna stop the recording now.